We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound now. Watch on bandit run. About. Oh, I guess we're on the air. You know what that means? It's Wednesday night. It is time for the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show. This is Stray Cass. Yes, sirree, Bob Bass Galaxy. Yes, give it up. Boom. Kapow, kapoo. Wednesday night. I can't believe it's happening again so quickly. And we're pretty excited to bring to you, I believe this will be the fourth time, maybe third time, but I think the fourth time. I usually have Andy sitting across from me. But, of course, this is Safe House Edition Easter Week show number 2 from the Safe House. Coming on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Ott DeFoe. We bring you Ott DeFoe, Bass Galaxy. That is correct. Boom. Now we're talking. Yes. Now we're cooking with vinegar. I mean, we're excited here. A lot of crazy things happening in the world, but we're here to bring you some excitement, some goodness to this craziness in the world. I've been catching fish. I don't know about you guys out there, but I've been catching them. They're eating. It's been beautiful, but now all of a sudden, boom, the bottom going to drop out. But they're still bassing around the corner. Speaking of bassing, I'm going to bring to you right now via this Zoom thing. This is kind of odd for us, in case you don't know. We're all in different houses. We're doing the quarantinus type deal right now, where we're all in different houses, and we have our very own collegiate intern, Danny Mohan, Dickie Mo, from his house somewhere in Northwest Indiana. Undisclosed location. Welcome, Danny.
Cool. Just unmuted my audio.
Good job. Good. That's good. That's thinking. That's fancy book smarting. What's going on? I'm glad you're here. It's like I need company, man.
Oh, I know, man. I can't wait till we can get back in the studio and start doing it like normal. But for the time being, this is perfect.
Yeah, it is. I mean, exactly.
We can get her done.
We do what we got to do. There's families everywhere. Not just bass families, but there's families everywhere across America sharing Zoom time to be closer to each other.
Exactly. I mean, it's, it is what it is, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So there's a lot of, you've been fishing, dude, right?
Oh, I've been fishing like the past 20 days, every single day, yeah. I'm not kidding. I've caught a bass, my pond in the backyard is always a sure bet if I just need one, but I've caught at least one.
That's good. It's good for the soul, right?
Oh, it is. It's honestly, I hate to say it, but this Corona's kind of cool in that aspect. I mean, freed up enough to be able to fish.
Yeah, you're fishing a little extra. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure, and of course, staying safe. Hey,
of course.
Here, speaking of fishing, man, this it's coming right around the corner for us here in Northwest Indiana, but it's almost swim jig time. It's almost swim jig time. And maybe it is swim jig time in some smaller ponds and stuff, but as the water starts heating up, it's that magic Bravarni moment that we like to talk about here on the show. And tonight, the genius, the mad scientist, the wizard himself, the wizard of jigs, Dan Bravarni, is giving away a Stray Cass fun pack of Bravarni swim jigs. And it's super easy to win here on Stray Cass. All you have to do is like and share the live Facebook feed. Like and share the live Facebook feed, and you are entered automatically to win the $50 worth of Bravarni jigs. That's a lot of jigs. Ooh. That's like, I think, 8,000 or 9,000 jigs.
Quite possibly.
If these were made in the 1800s.
1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But remember to take it off of private when you like and share this feed. Otherwise, when JP High, the hip-hop fisherman, calculates the deal here, you'll be included. In other words, like and share the live Facebook feed. You are automatically entered to win $50 worth of Bravarni baits. Speaking of bait, I got some cool bait, man, at Carl's, dude.
Heck yeah.
I got some of those what are they called? Those, yes.
I just ordered a bunch, dude. The BioSpawn Exo Swim.
Exotech Swim BioSpawns.
They got
Boom.
some cool colors too, man. I mean, the Fighter Shad, I've seen it work. JP and Ryan, we're catching a bunch of good smalls on it. Then that Pro Blue's always good.
Oh yeah, dude.
But
Well,
phenomenal swim baits. You were using it as a spinnerbait.
yeah, that's what I use swim baits for. Spinner baits. Yeah, I use best spinner bait trailer. I don't do too much of that other stuff, but our guest coming up, Ott DeFoe sure does. He won a derb on those that type of swim bait, no doubt about it.
Course.
But yeah, so of course those are it. What else is going on at Carl's right now? Carl's Bait and Tackle.
Well, like always, if you become a Carl's Club member, you get 30% off everything. I mean, they're giving away baits at that point.
Okay.
So, the 30% off is big. Like you might as well just become a member. I mean, it's the cheapest you'll be able to get, tackles.
So on most products, if you become a Carl's Club member, 30% off most products. That's almost wholesale.
Oh, it's awesome.
Pretty
Honestly,
decent. Shop Carl's.
Phenomenal. They do that. Also, what I've really been digging about Carl's is their product videos. They have really good product videos. Like they'll have several pros and other people. They do videos on the products. And I mean, they're educational. Like, shoot, I mean, you could I don't throw a chatterbait much, but I mean, I looked at a chatterbait one.
Sure, you're learning a bit.
Yeah, I was about to say. I mean, it's just useful information. But Carl's does a phenomenal job with that.
Nice. Well, Shop Carl's up to 30% off if you are a Carl's Club member. Hey, what's going on with Half a Spot, Danny? I know you've been up on that deal this week.
Yeah, dude.
You've been all up in Half a Spot. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I love Half a Spot. My favorite thing about it, instead of liking, there's the respect that.
Respect?
You're not liking. You say I respect that. You click a little. It's like a little fist.
Who'd you just respect? Give him a shout out.
Darrell Harrelson. That's a pretty good. I think he's in Florida. It's looking a little nice with some cattails and shit in the back. But
Darrell Harrelson.
Darrell had a.
Do you say is the Arl silent?
Maybe.
Okay.
Possibly. We'll have to have him confirm. But,
gave him some respect.
Yeah, there was also I saw a pretty big steelhead. There's a guy posting some of the steelhead out of Portage, close to us. So
nice. So you can kind of pinpoint from where you live to what the deal might be in your area.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is I've localized it to where we live. So I mean, Chicagoland area. I've been seeing some really cool posts. I mean, people are catching them.
Nice.
I don't hunt, but for a hunter, I mean, I'm sure it phenomenal use for any hunter.
Awesome. So follow Half a Spot official on Instagram and download Half a Spot on the iPhone and Android apps.
Bingo.
Kapoo. Kapow. Hey, you know what Wednesday nights mean for the viewers of Stray Cast. It's the Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey drinking game. Uh-oh, there it is. There it is. So we're sticking with tonight. Every time I say the word derb again, or a guest says the word derb, it's time. We're sticking with derb. It's derb again tonight.
Derb, or how about biggin? Are we gonna include bigs?
No biggin. But here's a I could get crazy on this.
Oh yeah.
All right, but anytime the word jig is said, fishing jig.
Oh, it's gonna be a long night.
I don't know. Anytime fishing jig or derb. And of course, you guys will be prompted on the on the chat board. But fishing jig or derb is the Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. And again, at the end of each month, boom, giving away bottle Tin Cup Mountain Whiskey. So, I think that's pretty much it, dude.
Cover the bases.
Yeah, I mean, we are right there. This is the time. The time is now. Let's put the power poles down. Let's get Ott DeFoe, the champion, right here on Stray Cast. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're coming back with Ott DeFoe. Boom. See you in a minute. The all-new XF series by Crestliner. Simplistic perfection with performance features built on a platform for success. The amazingly affordable XF series by Crestliner. a brand new way to reel in bass. For more information and to find your local dealer, visit Crestliner.com today. The Crestliner Real Deal Sales Event. The best time to buy is now at Crestliner.com. Save up to $3,000 today.
Hey, it's Carl, and I've got some big plans this fishing season. I'm hoping to get in the best shape of my life to have some of the best fishing of my life. And I want you to join me for Carl's spring training. Let's get it. Let's get it.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man and the mountain and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
The TH Marine HydroWave H2 KVD Edition is a surefire way to ignite a feeding frenzy. The HydroWave utilizes a sound-emitting technology that imitates bait fish and other feeding fish below the surface that preys on the competitive nature of bass and other game fish to get you more bites. The HydroWave is another way that TH Marine has you covered from transom to trolling motor.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff.
Welcome back. Straycast, this is the glorified version of a bass fishing talk show, and I'm your host, Pat Renwick. You know, it's not often that we get to be in the presence and feel the presence of a champion, a true champion's champion. He's an author. He's a TV star. And one hell of a bass fishing tournament angler. He's the Lord of the Derb. Ladies and gentlemen, we bring to you one bad hombre. They call him the Otter. Give it up for the one and only Ott DeFoe. Yes. Welcome back, Ott.
What's going on, fellas?
No, just hanging out here in the safe house. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure you're doing the same thing.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, been home an extremely odd amount for any time of year, but especially this time of year. Yeah, it's definitely been weird. But it's kind of a good weird, in my opinion. I'm home with the family and getting to hang out with them and see them a lot and enjoying it.
Yeah, you are you're carpe in the diem, as they might say in fishing.
That's it. Yep. I'm not sure exactly that. I'm not real big on catching carp. Jimmy will shoot them with a bow. But
exactly. I snag a few on accident every once in a while.
Yep, exactly.
Especially in the river.
Yeah. We've got some big ones swimming in this river right here behind the house.
How is the river these days? Have you been out there?
I've not, honestly, much. We'd had so much rain, so getting to my boat ramp is you got to drive through the grass, and I actually just tilled it up. I try to get some grass growing better, but it's been pretty muddy to try to get down there. So I've actually not been out here on the river or any behind the house, and it's been a while, honestly, other than just fishing off the bank, right here off the creek and stuff. But I hadn't been out there in quite a bit, so. But probably going to go this next week sometime.
Okay. Well, I mean, so that's been your fishing then the last few days or weeks, maybe just a little bank dobbing.
Yeah, been to Douglas, been on Cherokee, around here some. So, those places are 45 minutes, just depending on where I go from the house. But been on both of them some in the last couple of weeks, I guess, something like that. Been fishing about a day, about twice every 10 days.
You got to keep your peace of mind. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So
you go crazy.
Parker, he's 8, will be 9 in June, and he and I've been fishing together a good bit, so that's fun.
Nice. Is that your most competitive child?
Yes and no. Lizzie is an extremely competitive child, but only if she knows she can be competitive.
Okay, she's smart. That's a smart kid.
Right. She's not going to pick a battle that she doesn't feel really good about. Now Parker, he wants to be competitive at everything. Yeah, he likes to make it a competition. He likes to have a reason to win. But yeah, he is definitely competitive, whether it's against me or as either one of his sisters or whoever.
So when you go out and fish with your kids, do they feel a need to maybe kind of one up Dad a little?
Oh, absolutely. They want to catch the first one or catch the most, the biggest. Absolutely. No, anything they can get on with, they're going to try to, and then they're going to remind me of it the whole day. And if they end up beating me, certainly the whole way home. So, and that was the first time Parker and I went fishing. It's been nearly 2 weeks ago, I guess now, but we did our own major league fishing and weighed every fish and kept track of them. And he ended up beating me by like 2.5 pounds that day. So that was pretty cool.
He got you.
He did. He sure did. He caught the big fish. He had the most weight and everything. So yeah, it was a fun day.
He won by 30 pounds almost, just like you did.
It wasn't quite that bad, but he did 1 ounce or 30 pounds. A win's a win.
Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about the career of Ott DeFoe. Let's go back to, what did you start FLW about 2006 or 2007 or something like that? And I was looking through a little stats, and I saw your best FLW derb was about 2007 on Travis, and you came in like 6th place. Is that
right? Yeah, that was actually my very first one, and that first FLW tour.
Oh, is that right? Okay, the first one ever. Wow, you came out with a bang, Ott.
Yeah, I did. I fished the FLW series, which had a lot of the same guys as the FLW tour, plus a lot of guys from Bass. So there was a lot of crossover. That was a really, really strong field in that 06 FLW series. But then 2007 was the first year I started on the FLW tour, and made a top 10 my very first one, and it was I didn't make many top 10s in my career at FLW. I fished there from 07 through 2010, got quite a few checks. I don't remember what my percentage was, but it was probably 60 plus % that I got and got a check, but I can only honestly remember one other top 10, and that was at Kentucky Lake in 2009, I believe it would have been. So, yeah, I didn't make a lot of top 10s on the FLW tour.
But, you came out with a bang. So, you had to be feeling pretty good. And I didn't know it was your first derb ever. But, that's pretty awesome. How were you feeling after that? Yeah, 6th place, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely was. That was the biggest tournament I'd fished to that point in my career, and to come out and make a top 10 was that was an awesome feeling to be like, well, at that point you're trying to figure out if you can do this.
Yeah, you're like, I love it when a plan comes together.
Right. And so, yeah, it's like, man, I had some success right out of the gate. So that was definitely a confidence booster. The biggest thing I remember about that top 10, a couple things. For one, I caught them on a float and fly.
Is that right?
I sure did. Yeah.
Wow.
East Tennessee technique. Took
Sure, the old Billy Westmoreland float and fly.
Yep. And
Love
the
it.
other thing was that Brian Thrift, that was his first FLW Tour tournament as well, and he came in second, and that was where he and I become friends. We didn't know anybody. We were both rookies, you know, and after I want to say it was after the top 10 day, I was like, man, you want to go out and grab a bite to eat? You know, we didn't, Jenny was actually there with me, but it was like, you know, didn't know each other, just, you know, hit it off and went and grabbed a bite to eat, and been friends ever since.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no doubt about it. Two champions hanging out, and they both your first derbs were an FLW together, same time. That's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty awesome. So I'm kind of confused on the history then, and please educate me a bit, and forgive me for not knowing this. But so 2010, I do know that was the last year you fished FLW, and 2011 was your first year of the elites. Were you fishing the opens, and that's how you qualified?
Yep, in 2010 I fished the opens. That was the first year I'd ever fished the opens.
Okay, I assumed so.
Yeah, I didn't fish them any prior to that. 2009 with FLW, I fished like 20-ish tournaments. That was when the PAA was going, when it was going strong. So I was fishing those. I fished the FLW Tour, the FLW Series, like a division and a half of Everstarts, Costas, Toyotas, whatever they are.
Okay.
So I fished like 6 different ones of those. The Forestwood Cup, the Costa Everstart Toyota Championship.
Wow.
And then like whatever it was, 3 or 4 PAA tournaments that year. It was a bunch.
Yeah, dude.
And then in 2010, I don't think I fished the FLW Series. I think I only fished the FLW Tour. That's when a lot of stuff was really, you know, the downturn from 08, 09 was really taking a big hit.
Exactly.
And that's really started, you know, hitting at the pro level as far as what tournaments were paying and that kind of stuff, and entry fees and everything. So that was the year I really scaled back, and I had a sponsor. I had to deal with Land O'Lakes on the FLW team deals in 2009.
Yeah, I remember.
And then 2010, when that year came up, that was not going to happen again. And that was, for me, that was honestly a turning point, because I realized at that point that I had a good year being on the team. One of the other guys on the Land O'Lakes team had won a tournament, Keith Williams, as well as making the Forestwood Cup. So there were 2 of us on the team that made the Forestwood Cup, which was the first time they had an angler in it in like 5 years. And he won a tournament, and the team that they backed out of sponsoring FLW altogether. And to me, that was just God giving me the peace of mind and the clarity to see that I'd always wanted to fish a Bassmaster Classic. I'd always wanted to do that, and that with the way stuff was structured with FLW at that time, I really kind of wasn't in control of my own destiny. I wasn't, it didn't matter how well I fished. The best thing you could ask for there was an FLW team deal. I had one. I fished great by the standards of what had been going on, but yet it still went away. And that was for me, that was what pushed me even more in 2010. As the first year that I got aligned with Bass Pro, and that was just through my local store that year, and then was able to get into the Bass Opens that same year and fish my way into the elites then.
And that was the only year that you fished the Opens, and you qualified in 2011 for 2011.
Right, for 2011, and that year, the Open is a qualification for the elites. It kind of fluctuated a little bit here and there with demand and that kind of stuff. And that particular year, they took the top 7, and I tied for 6th. So you could say that I finished 7th, or that I was 6th, and the other guy would have finished 7th. But I was essentially the last guy in.
But you made it. That's all that counts, and the rest is history.
Exactly.
100%, man.
Yep.
So, I mean, now we're in 2011, okay? And here comes Ott DeFoe swinging, dude. Swinging. Rookie of the year, and you win a derb.
Yeah. I won. Yeah. Won the All-Star deal.
Yeah, you won the
Yeah.
All-Star event. I know that.
Yeah, that was, man. That honestly was a very pressure-filled year. That was my, obviously my rookie year on the elites. You want to perform. You want to, it's a new crowd of guys that I was fishing against, guys I had read about, dreamed about fishing against for my whole career. Now I'm here fishing against them. Got to see how you perform. And two, sponsorship wise, I had very, very, very little income coming in from sponsors. And I had just what I was spending in FLW, I had hardly any sponsorship there in 2010. And man, I needed to get a check in just the first 6 events without missing one to be able to keep paying the deposits and making the
that's it.
the payment.
Just the first 6 events. That's all.
Just the first 6 in a row. I could miss, I could miss 1 or 2 after that, but I had to get the first 6.
That's a little bit of pressure, Ott. Just a little bit.
Yeah, and I did. I got the first 6 in a row. I missed the check in the 7th one by just a little bit. If I would have caught another 12-inch bass on the Arkansas River, 12-inch spotted bass on the Arkansas River on the first day, I would have gotten a check, but I didn't. But that was all I would have needed done. And then went to I'd had one top 10 earlier, early in the season, then had another one at Lake Wheeler to end the year, and ended up 4th in the points. And made that All-Star deal and ended up winning it.
And Rookie of the Year, man. I mean,
Rookie of the Year, yeah.
Amazing year. That's outstanding.
Thank you. Yeah, it was. That one tournament, Jenny just came out here to tell me. I don't know if my audio sounds good on your audio. She said it sounded a little low on hers, but yeah, that tournament, the Arkansas River one where I did miss a check. I actually missed a day of practice too because that was Jenny had the twins on that Saturday before, so I was only home 2 days. Missed a day of practice and went out to Arkansas River. But yeah, that was that same year too. I had just a little bit more pressure to it, not only needing 6 checks in a row and all that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, we're having twins that year to just a little
add to it. So Ott, I'm getting a text. Hold on 1 second, because I'm not an engineer, but I'm in this studio by myself, and I am getting a text to tell me to check something on the soundboard. Can you bear with me one moment?
Go right ahead.
And I'm coming right back. 1 second.
Okay. Yep.
I'm still here. You'll be able to hear me the whole time because I got a big mouth, Ott.
Go ahead and talk, Ott.
Okay, can you hear me now? How's that sound? Can you hear me now? Hello, Pat. Can you hear me?
I'm turning the
I hear
knob.
nothing from you, but I don't know if you can hear me.
Let's try that one.
Okay. You want to try that one? You want me talking to you more?
And I'm back, Ott.
You're back.
Yeah, you're
Back in action.
Yeah, and I got you cranked up a little bit. Hopefully that fixed it. But I can hear you good still.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. Just tell Jenny to turn her volume up a little bit.
Well, now I turned. Maybe ask Jenny how it sounds now out there, because we don't know what's happening in the Bass Galaxy. Are you louder?
I don't know if she went back inside. I'm sure she'll.
Yeah, that worked.
There it is. Oh, okay. Here's our producer chimed in. Boom. Andy, Andy, you can chime in anytime, just like on the Howard Stern show. You could.
I forgot.
Yeah, I mean, just pop in, Andy, instead of texting me. I can't. I didn't even have my glasses on for crying out loud.
I forgot all about that.
Thank you. And now back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Ott DeFoe.
Yep.
Ott DeFoe is here. Yes.
Yep.
All right.
My
So
producer here too. So.
we're at 2011, man. Now, in between that time, there of course some more victories. All right, and it seems that anytime there was some sort of river involved, that you just everything good.
Yep. Yeah. She said that. She said that word.
See, I fixed it. Me and you fixed it. We're engineers.
We got it.
You see how we did that?
That's-
It's just like running
Yeah.
a locator. You know, you got to know what button to push on the flasher.
Yep, that's it. That's it.
Anytime there's a river system, Ott DeFoe's up there.
I do like a river. That is for sure. That is for sure. That's why we bought this piece of property where we live at, being right here on the river. Yeah, it's just I'm not crazy about a tidal one because the water goes both ways, and that really confuses me. I like it when it only runs downhill.
Exactly. But I mean, Mississippi River, Tennessee River, Douglas, all that stuff. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. I just, fishing current, man, they just make sense to me. I don't know any other way to put it any better, but yeah, it makes sense to me as to what they do. They're not often gonna be not around something. They're always gonna be around something, downstream of something, upstream of something. There's always stuff that makes sense as to a little bit to where they're gonna be. And times when they want to be in real fast current, or times when they want to be in areas that are slower. But yeah, there's just, I enjoy fishing a river, and honestly, the shallower the better that the river system is. If you need a aluminum boat, that's even better.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you there, man.
Yep.
And speaking of current, one of the greatest quotes I ever heard in bass fishing. It's a historical quote. You may have heard it yourself, and it's by Rick Clunn, and he said that current is the great neutralizer in bass fishing. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the condition may be. Current can neutralize that, whether it's muddy water, cold water, hot water, clear water. It doesn't matter because current neutralizes it. Can you elaborate on that Rick Clunn quote?
That's a really great way to put it. It truly is. Those days when you got bright bluebird skies and no wind, if the current's still moving, it does. It's not that big a deal. When you're fishing down the lake and you've got, those kind of conditions, man, it can be really tough. But if you can go up the river and the water's moving, it doesn't matter that there's no wind blowing. Right. It doesn't matter that it's sunny or cloudy. And that is, once you understand how those fish then choose to bite on a day when it's clear or a day when it's cloudy, it does affect how those fish feed. But there always is a way to make them feed where, fishing around here, prime example, the two opens that I won on Douglas in the fall, that time of year, it's tough. It's September. That's when the fishing in the lake is the hardest. Now, if you catch a good day and it's cloudy and it's windy, you get good conditions, it can actually be pretty good fishing down the lake. But you catch a day, which most of them are that time of the year, that's bright, bluebird, winds are light and variable. Dude, it's like pulling teeth to try to catch anything.
I can relate.
But you can go up the river, and those days are the best ones. Just because you know exactly where the fish are going to be. There's no guesswork to it. The fish is right there. You got to figure out how to make him bite.
Sure.
But he's right. That's the location, the locating fish part of it is out of the equation. That's already solved. I know where it's going to be. I just got to figure out how to make it bite.
And historically, does that pretty much stand true on most river systems that you're familiar with, Ott? Do they pretty much stick through those locations through the years?
They really do. And whether it's this river right here behind the house, it's the Mississippi from La Crosse, Wisconsin, or Brainerd, Minnesota, to the Louisiana Delta, and anywhere in between, the Alabama River, the Coosa River, those places that are truly a river system. Now, you look at the Tennessee River, yes, it's a river system, but a lot of it fishes more like a lake. But it, in some ways, and as much rain as what we've had the last several years, it fishes a lot like a river. But some of those vary a little bit, but your really bona fide river systems, man, what works here behind my house is the same way they live in all the other ones. Is their environment a little different? Absolutely. Their cover different? Yes. Some have largemouth and smallmouth. Some just have one or the other or whatever. But they pretty much do the same things in every river system across the country.
I love rivers for the same reason. Thank you. I like dumb fish. I like catching more.
Yeah.
I mean, and they set up easier, man. They just set up easier.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Hey, let's jump up to 2019.
Okay.
Ott DeFoe, Bassmaster Classic champion.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man. I remember when you came on the show after the classic, and Matt, you were worn out. You were worn you were worn out, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you had some kind of cold or bronchitis or something that might have hit you around that time too.
I thought it was bronchitis. It didn't end up being.
Well, what was it? You got
that was what ended up requiring me to have heart surgery. We thought
that's
it
right.
was bronchitis.
Jeez, that's right. Forgive me for not remembering that. Jeez, Ott. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That was. Yeah, we thought it was just some type of infection, or that was before the corona, so we didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, thank God.
But yeah, we thought it was some type of breathing deal, or I developed asthma or something along those lines. But yeah, it's what ended up the torn mitral valve in my heart, and what ended up requiring me to have heart surgery. So yeah, that was just some fluid backing up, I guess blood backing up into my lungs from my heart, because it wasn't working like it should have been.
Yeah, I mean, and you seem amazing now. I mean, you seem completely healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that surgery was it was a lifesaver, no question about it. But I didn't realize, and it was 3 months later before I really found out what was going on and had the surgery that I had. But I truly didn't realize, because it had gotten worse or just kind of progressed for that 3 months. And I'd gotten used to it. I was kind of just living with it. It didn't get better. It didn't get that much worse. I just kind of that's just the way it was.
Yeah. And you're like, what's going on?
And yeah, so it was once I finally had the surgery and then was fully healed from it. And even it really was, it was into the fall. I had the surgery like late June 24th or 6th or somewhere in there. It was the first 4 weeks were, I didn't do much at all. I fished just a little bit, fished a cup tournament about 5 or 6 weeks after. That just wore me down big time. Red Crest was like 8 or 9 weeks after. But it was really probably 3 months before I felt like I was really close to 100%. But even, once we went back to fishing this year, that was, when I was really going full steam ahead again. And I realized just how much better I felt. I could, like last year, man, if I practiced, I'll practice early, but I always quit early. I'm a 5, 6 o'clock. I don't practice till dark ever. That ain't my style.
All right. I got you.
But I'll be out there at daylight, but
not like Ike and Ellie. Ike and Ellie sleeps out there.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nonsense. I'll punch in early, but I'm gonna clock out at 5 o'clock. I got you. I put in my. I'm done for the day. But yeah. But this year, last year, man, I'd be 10 hours, dude. I was burnt. That's all I could do. Where this year, I'm good, and I can go to bed. And honestly, if I get 6 or 7 hours of sleep, I'm pretty good shape. Where
ready to rip.
Last year, man, I get 8 or 9, maybe even 10 hours of sleep to really get enough rest to go again the next day. So it was surprising to see and truly realize just how much my body was not what it should have been.
Right. And again, I apologize for not remembering it was a heart thing. Like I go Rain Man off of a lot of this stuff, and I was, in my mind, I was thinking you had some kind of pneumonia or something, man. But
yeah.
I'm just glad. I'm glad everything's all right. Are you exercising at all? Was that part of your deal at all?
It wasn't. The doctors didn't tell me that I needed to or anything. They said, if you want to, absolutely, it's a good idea. But it wasn't like I needed to go do a bunch of cardio or anything afterwards to do anything. They said, you're young, you're in good physical condition as it is, and you're you're good. You just go and do your thing, and you'll be just fine.
They basically what they were saying is the mental anguish of professional bass fishing is enough cardio to burn calories as it is. So just go about your business, Mr. DeFoe.
You'll be good. Good to go.
You'll be fine, man.
Lay off the fried chicken a little bit and keep going.
There you go, and lay off the biscuit and gravy only once a week.
Exactly.
Hey, do you consider yourself a winder?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, obviously you won that 2019 Bassmaster Classic winding. You just won the last derb here for the Bass Pro Tour winding.
Yeah.
I might describe you from a bass fishing fan's point of view as a patient winder. Does that make sense?
I would agree with that. I really would.
There's sporadic winders,
Right.
And like, for example, Ike and Ellie, Kevin Van Dam, and I mean they're mechanical and fluid and well thought, but you are more of a, and again, I'm going to make a reference to an amazing cranker, Rick Clunn, to another amazing cranker, David Fritz. You are a patient winder. Tell me what that means to you.
I think that's a nice way of saying that I almost do it to a fault on occasion.
All right, I gotcha.
But because if I can catch them winding something, that's what I'm going to try to find. I mean, that's what I want to do. To have to catch them dragging something. Now flipping, I don't consider flipping to be dragging something, but if I have to actually drag something to catch them, I'm probably going to get beat.
Okay.
I just am. I'd much rather, a crankbait, whether it's a lipless or a DT10 or whatever. Man, a crankbait, I feel like at times I can absolutely make them bite it. And that's why I like it so much. It's such a good reaction bait. And, there are a lot of nuances to a crankbait. And watching guys like the ones you mentioned, Rick Clunn and Fritz and Van Dam, and watching those guys and what they do with the bait, stopping and go and twitching the bait, burning it, all the different things that you can do from the time your bait hits the water till it gets back to your rod tip. There's just a lot that you can do within that cast.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, and that separates. That separates.
It does. It really does. And that's it. And I don't honestly. It's just mechanical for me anymore. I mean, it's just what I do. But I don't realize until I go back and watch. Like I went back and watched some of that live. I had no idea how much I stopped my bait and how much I twitched my rod tip. I had I'm being honest here.
Or pull.
I never throw it out there and reel it back. Never.
All you crankers, all the great crankers, that's a key characteristic. There's no doubt about it. Whether it be just flat out crazy speed, like Rick Clunn, watch that guy crank, dude. Like, how does his hand move that fast? It's like he's, you know what I mean? It's like he should work for a sausage grinding factory. The guy's going nuts. He's going absolutely crazy. And then and then now you watch another guy who has a completely different cranking technique, and that's David Fritz, who's actually using the slowest reel in the world and resting it on his knee to deaden the feel even more. So that nuance there, whatever he's doing there is his nuance. Clunn's is his speed. Yours might be erratic retrieve, as Kevin Van Dam's is erratic retrieve. That type of stuff. But one thing that I notice about you is you're comfortable in pretty much winding anything as long as you're winding, and it's accounted for checks for you through career, man.
No doubt.
Now, what I want to talk to you about is basically, let's break it down to 3 basic winding baits. Okay.
Okay.
So let's talk. There's the chatter chicken. All right. The
Yeah.
chatterbait type deal.
Yeah.
And then we got a crankbait, of course.
Yeah.
And then the old spinner bug.
Yeah.
So what I want to ask you to tell us is give me the breakdown of your chatterbait setup. All right? Rod, reel, line, bait, trailer, whole deal. Same thing with the spinner bait, same thing with the crankbait. I want to know Ott's wind and arsenal. Those 3 rods are all you got to work with. What are they?
Yeah. The chatterbait setup would be it's a Bass Pro cranking stick. It's a 7-foot 3-inch heavy action, but it's in their cranking stick line, so it's a very moderate heavy action, and that was going to a glass or composite. I think it's technically a composite rod.
Gotcha.
But the first tournament that I ever used that rod in was the Classic last year. I'd always used it on the same rod I fished a spinnerbait on. But I had, man, those occasions of fish just absolutely crushing that bait were always the ones I lost, and I never could understand it. And then I switched to that composite rod. Actually, I mean, the Classic practice for the Classic was the first time that I did it, and landed like every fish that bit. So that was what I went with. But the reel is a Bass Pro Carbon Light 7.5 to 1 gear ratio. Little bit faster, kind of a moderate speed, what I would consider a moderate speed reel.
Gotcha, yeah.
And 17-pound XPS fluorocarbon is my setup for that. And it's typically a 3/8 or half ounce, just your standard bladed jig stuff. I like there's one that Bass Pro has an exclusive with from Z-Man that I just like the head and the hook, the blade, everything about that particular one. The skirt on it I don't like. But I like the head and the hook, and I just pull the skirt off and put my own on it.
There you go. I see.
And then use a couple different trailers. Bass Pro's actually got a new one out that's, the Zacho, minnow style trailer.
Type deal, yeah.
That's most of the time. If I want something with some more lift, I'll use the Bass Pro Bullhog. It's kind of a creature style bait, flat sided on the bottom. That way, something it actually comes through brush a little bit better. That's something Andy Montgomery taught.
Okay. And we just saw Jordan kick some butt on that orange chicken with the with that chigger craw type trailer on there. And I never throw a chatterbait. I'm always throwing that, like the Lake Fork or the Zacho or Berkeley's got one similar. Everybody's got one type of bait like that. Yeah. But Jordan taught us a little lesson, man. And like you said, Andy Montgomery knew about it. All you guys know those little nuances, but that gives lift and helps it get through brush. Is that the deal?
It is, yeah. That like a chigger craw it's kind of a round body, so it's not so much the trailer I'm talking about is kind of like a beaver style body. So it's really, it's got a fairly wide profile to it.
I see.
And then you thread it on where that's coming through the water horizontal. That widest part is, and so then it gives it a lot of lift. You can fish a 3/8. Bladed jig shallow and slow and it not be just dragging the bottom, or with that, Zacho style, minnow style, it's going to dive pretty good. But that flat plane, when you hit a piece of brush or something, it doesn't allow it to roll as easy. It's going to just lift the whole thing right up over it, keep it straight it's going to keep your bait coming straight in the water column and not allow it to roll in your hook to catch that brush quite as.
Gotcha. Probably helping pad stems some too.
Pad stems, yeah, absolutely. Pad stems, wood, yeah, all that kind of stuff. It definitely helps in all those.
When a lot of times on Stray Cast, we like to describe bites. Describe the thrill of the bite. Of course, there's that jig bite, that everybody loves that, or that slack line bite. But have you ever noticed when you're winding a bladed jig, a chatter chicken type bait, that sometimes you feel that fish before it eats it? You know what I mean? It's like it's pushing up on it. It's a magic moment. Like everything gets crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's you feel that a lot on crankbait.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. You feel that a lot on both of those, and I think that's why I like them both so much.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I mean, it's like you almost know it's gonna happen before it does. And then when you get tuned in on that feeling, that's when them basses are in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's-
Exactly. The way Fritz holds his rod, I don't know that he ever feels that, but it is a good feeling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of Fritz, let's talk crankbait setup. What's Ott DeFoe's crankbait setup and your crankbait of choice?
I fish too, for everything like up to a DT6 and sometimes including a DT6. I fish that on a 7-foot medium heavy, same deal, a Bass Pro cranking stick. And then everything from a DT6 up to 10, 14, 16, I fish on a 7.6 medium heavy Bass Pro cranking stick. And then I always fish all my crankbaits on a Johnny Morse Platinum 6/8-to-1 gear ratio reel. And it's pretty much 12 for my deeper baits, like my DT6 and deeper. I'm going to throw on 12 XPS fluorocarbon. For the shallower stuff, it's going to be on 14. Just something with a little bit bigger diameter, a little more abrasion resistance. I'll go up to 17 if I really need to, if I'm fishing around a lot of really heavy cover, really big fish, something like that, and I don't need the bait to get very shallow. But those two rods cover, everything other than just a super big, heavy bait, those two rods right there cover it for me.
Nice. And I know that you're a crankbait freak. I mean, you make crankbaits. I know pros even like try and break in your garage and steal baits from you when you're not home.
Yep.
I mean, I know you have surveillance cameras of them. I know footage of these guys. And you got that new flat side deal coming out, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you got the old Big Shad coming out at ICAST. You tease us with this kind of stuff. You go and you win a big derb, and then all of a sudden, like, coming out at ICAST. Thanks, Ott.
Exactly. And it's cool because that stuff, man, that's, Rappler's a big company and a lot of projects and a lot of stuff going, but it's all kind of timed up being this year. And then it's been a year that's been really good on a crankbait for me. So that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, shortly after the Classic last year was when we kind of got the go ahead on what is now being, what'll be released as Slim, the OG Slim 6, which is
Slim.
Ott's Garage. Slim 6 is in the name of the bait. So the OG will be actually the line. That'll be a family that there'll be more baits added to year after year. So that's really, man, it's really exciting for me being a crankbait fisherman, the way I've always loved to make them, to fish them, to do all the different things that I like to do with the bait. And then the fact that Rapala has trusted me with giving that much input and actually designing these baits that they're going to produce under their brand. So it's a really honoring thing, in my opinion, to be able to have that, because they're a huge company and somebody that I've been thankful to be partnered with for a long time. And that I've wanted from the day I got joined with Rapala. That was my dream with them.
Who'da thunk, man? Who'da thunk? Ott DeFoe, crankbait designer.
Yeah, so I'm pretty fired up about that.
Hey, so do you ever get into, like, in your cranking experience, cranking like the Balsa B3 style bodies, like a big fat hunting Balsa 4-wheel drive type crankbait?
Man, I have fished those some, and I have caught fish on them, but I've never been in those situations where that was the bait.
Gotcha.
For me.
Okay.
I just haven't. Have I caught fish on them? Absolutely. But I've never had the scenario where that was the bait.
I've always noticed your cranking was like that flat deal or that in between DT style. The DT's not quite flat, not quite, it's not violent and it's not quite the tightest. It's right in between.
Yeah.
So, I've never really see you with the fat body baits.
No, on occasion, I'll use a smaller round bait some, but that's a pretty wide wobbling, some different balsa baits and stuff. But yeah, those big, there's so many of the fisheries that we fish are so pressured anymore. I feel like a lot of that stuff, I'm not going to say it's lost its place by any means, because nothing ever goes out of style completely. Stuff always comes back around, but that they're not quite as prevalent as they were. 10, 15 years ago. I'm going to say that's just that style of baits and stuff, just because everybody's in the back of a creek or whatever,
Sure.
where the water's muddy.
Everybody watched Rick
And
Clunn.
Right. So it's, those fish are pressured, and you have to a lot of times kind of scale back a little bit to still get those fish to bite. So is there a place for them? Yes. But is it something that's really widespread? In my opinion, not quite so much anymore.
Okay, gotcha. It's just not your bag. It's not your bag, man. What about spinnerbaits?
Yeah.
Ott? Talk to me about Ott's spinnerbait go-tos.
Spinnerbait go-to, the rod reel setup and stuff for that, for me, is what like I said, I used to fish my bladed jigs on. I don't anymore, but spinnerbait and buzzbait both. Carbon light, Bass Pro carbon light rod, 7 foot, medium heavy. Carbon light reel, the 7.5 to 1, same as I use on my bladed jigs, and the same 17-pound XPS fluorocarbon. That's pretty much the only thing I fish a spinnerbait on.
Gotcha. You like the graphite. You like graphite for spinnerbaits.
I do, and that carbon light, it is graphite, but it is a bit more moderate than like our Bass Pro and our Platinum series is a fast action rod. And all of them. Where that carbon light, it's a medium heavy. I think it's considered a fast, but it's a little bit more on the slower side, of the fast action. So it does have a little bit more bend down into the rod. But yeah, that is for me. That's my spinnerbait, buzzbait rod that I really like.
And what's your spinnerbait? What's your deal? Your go-to?
Well, I've been with Terminator for several years, same amount of time I've been with Rapala, but actually this year, along with all this other stuff, we've been working on the line of spinnerbaits. That's again coming to ICAST, but those will be a tournament grade spinnerbait, stainless steel wire, premium head, hand tied skirt, premium blades, every combination, every skirt color.
Wow.
Everything spinnerbait is stuff that I've personally designed and picked out. And it's, even, most spinnerbait companies, just to give you one idea of just how many nuances went into the spinnerbait, take the willow blades, for example. So, we've of course got double willows, we've got Colorado willows, and we've got Colorado Indianas. We've got all the combinations covered. But for me, the way I fish a spinnerbait, when I'm fishing a Colorado willow combination, that's not the same willow leaf I want to use on a double willow. Okay. It's a different shape.
Interesting.
So like the willow that I actually put on the back of my Colorado willow is never a willow that I want on a double willow. It's a different blade, it's a different cup, different vibration.
Okay, so wait, the shape as well. I understand cups, I understand thickness of blades, but they're actually different shaped willows. Or you modified a willow.
No, it's not. It's a factory blade.
Okay,
but it's just you got to find a different model. But yes, it is. If you take the same one that's a number 5 in this size to a number 5 in a different manufacturer, and it's a narrower, more tapered, or whatever it may be.
Interesting.
But yeah, it is. They're technically different, even though it's the same size by the manufacturer. It is a total different blade.
Okay, so sorry to stop you, but what's the configuration? What do you look for in the Colorado willow compared to the willow?
The Colorado willow, I'm wanting a willow that has more vibration in it. I'm wanting one that has a little bit more lift, because I'm typically a willow. I'm fishing in clear water, or I'm wanting to fish the bait fast.
Gotcha.
Even if it's a little bit of color, but I'm wanting to fish the bait. That the willow has the least amount of resistance, but a lot of flash. So I'm wanting to either fish the bait fast, deep, or I'm wanting to bait with a lot of flash. So that's why I pick it. Where Colorado willow, I may be wanting to fish the bait real shallow, but I also may want to fish it down to 6 or 7 feet. But I want to fish it slow more times than not. If I'm fishing a moderate to slow speed, somewhere in that range. Where with the Colorado or Colorado Indiana, the blade we're going with, it's kind of in between. But yeah, with that one, it is definitely you're wanting a slow retrieve and a lot of lift. But with that that Colorado willow. That's why I want that bigger, more flash. That's something that I want to get the bait down a little bit more. Maybe not quite as deep as a double willow, but not quite as shallow as the Colorado, Indiana, configuration.
Gotcha. So, I mean, you pretty much got it all coming at ICAST. Well, the patient winder pack coming soon to ICAST.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff I'm very excited about.
What about a vibrating jig? What do you got? Do you got anything there for us?
We've got the shuttering bait from Terminator
right.
that I do use, but yeah, we don't have anything else there on those lines coming. That shuttering bait's a great bait. It's something I use more and more all the time. But yeah, that would come out a couple of years ago.
I know about that one, but I figured you were tinkering with something, knowing you. I mean, in the OG, you know what I mean.
I have tinkered on that a little bit, but not got anything quite to come out just yet.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Absolutely. Hey, I have a viewer mail question.
Okay.
And this one is from Mark in Michigan, and Mark in Michigan says, "Pat, hate you, love your show. Please ask Ott DeFoe what the biggest bass ever caught out of his jet boat was." It's Mark from Michigan.
Caught out of a jet boat.
Yeah, Mark from Michigan wants to know.
Mark from Michigan. That is a good question.
Biggest bass ever out of your jet boat.
Mark from Michigan. Actually, I think I'm putting this together now. Mark from Michigan, probably Zona, and it was probably the one that he caught in my jet boat.
Is that what's going on here? Is that who this Mark from Michigan is?
I don't know if it is. I don't know that it isn't, but it wouldn't surprise me because that. I'm going to say that he has caught it, and I really didn't consider that when he caught it, but when we were filming, if that is Mark Zona from Michigan,
okay.
But when we were filming his show over here back in September, he caught a 7-pounder, boat flipped it even. But yeah, he boat flipped a 7-pounder up there in the French Broad in my jet boat.
So
I don't know if you can hear the kite.
So Mark from Michigan, the answer is Mark Zona actually caught the biggest fish ever out of Ott DeFoe's boat. All right, there we go.
It was a 7-pounder.
There we go. That's not bad, man. That guy holds a record.
No. Yep. Pretty awesome.
Hey, so I was reading your bio on the in the MLF deal, and they took a quote from you, and I mean this with the utmost respect, Ott. I'm gonna have to ask you for a retraction to them. I'm gonna need you to go to the MLF people and ask them to rewrite this. But you said you only sing in the church choir, but that's not true. You've sang on Stray Cats before.
I have sang on here before. You're absolutely right. I have.
Yeah, and I'm not going to ask you to sing right now. Not yet.
Okay.
But just not yet.
Okay.
But I mean, this is serious. I really think that that's an example of people believing everything they read on the internet. So some poor little kid is going to read that and be like, man, Ott only sings in the church choir, when you really sing on Stray Cats as well. And that would now inspire that young kid to sing, because you sing in more than one place besides the church choir.
I do. Yeah, I'll have to get them to update that.
So hopefully Jenny is on that, and a retraction is in order. I had to get that out of the way. That's from my agent. Sorry, I had to get that done. So we got the Mark viewer mail out and the agent deal. All right. Let me keep going here. Let me go. Hey, take a trait, Ott DeFoe, from any professional angler, whether it be their preferred technique, whether it be their mindset. Take a trait from any professional angler. Make it your own. And who is that angler you're taking the trait from?
That would probably be I'm a decent caster, but I would, if I had Andy Montgomery's casting ability, that would be the one trait.
He's the dude, huh? That's the guy.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody says that,
yeah. He is really, really, really good. I mean, I'm okay, but man, he makes it. I mess up a lot throughout the day, and he just doesn't. I mean, he just don't miss much, and that'd definitely be the trait I would like to have.
Is that it'd be a strong statement if this is true. Is that the best caster you have witnessed? Is Andy Montgomery?
There's a lot of them that are really good. Him, Thrift, and there's a bunch of them that are really good. But yeah, Andy's. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with him, so he's certainly one that's easy for me that comes to mind.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, I know the dude's a dock skipping son of a son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude nails it.
Yeah.
Hey,
No doubt. No.
I want to go back to your first year in FLW, and then I want to jump it to the first year on the Elites. And I want to ask you, who was that guy? Who was that guy on those tours that may have said a little something to you, or maybe you looked up to and they may have reached out or something, or you got a chance to have a conversation with? Tell me about both those years.
On FLW, so that year there, I actually traveled with a big group of guys. So Brandon Coulter was fishing. That was the first year he fished FLW tour as well. We traveled together. Jack Wade was fishing then. He had already been fishing some, but he was still fishing. And then another guy here from around home, Mark Malden, fished most of that year as well. And then there was like 4 co-anglers that traveled with us. So it was a group of 8 of us that traveled everywhere, stayed in houses together and stuff. But, Jack was the seasoned veteran of the group. Had fished bass for years and fished FLW for a few years before that. So I don't remember any particular conversations we had or anything, but just being around him, he was always the early riser of the bunch. He would get up, cook breakfast. I mean, dude, way before
and
daylight.
You're like 21 or 20 or something, right? At this time?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I was just a pup. And, but I mean, Jack was an early riser. Always had been. He'd get up, cook a full breakfast for everybody in the house. Jenny was pregnant with Abby, but traveling with me at that time. So her job was to do dishes, but she'd wake up and there'd be a great big breakfast cooked,
Nice.
So it might do it easy, but yeah, so just watching Jack, just his, just the way he was, that was his thing. He didn't fish late. He wasn't.
That was your guy.
And that was the guy that I certainly looked up to. And
how about the Elites? What about in 2011?
It wasn't anybody early in the year, but it was at that All-Star tournament. It was a small group of guys. It was just really just like 12 of us or so. And I had just, throughout the year, I really hadn't been around skeet much at all. And we were there parked in the boatyard. That's 12 of us in the whole tournament,
Yeah.
And I mean, dude, Skeet Reese, like, walks, or I might have been walking by his truck or something. He says, "Hey, Ott." And I mean, just, introduced, he's like, "Man, I'm Skeet. We hadn't seen each other much all year, but, heck of a job this year. If there's everything I can do for you, man, you just let me know." I mean, dude, this is Skeet Reese who introduced himself to me like he needed to.
That's awesome, right? You're loving this.
Yeah. I was just like, man, that's like the guy, one of the guys. And he just, introduced himself to me. He didn't wait for me to.
Let's again put it into perspective here. You're 25 years old now or something, right? 25, 26 years old now.
Right. Yeah.
So you're just coming, like, so that's inspiration to a lot. Think about it. To a lot of the college anglers right now, to the young aspiring anglers. Ott DeFoe, 25 years old, Elite Series Rookie of the Year, and wins a tournament. and establishes himself in bass fishing history pretty much in 2011. I mean,
yeah,
that's
and Kevin, I'm honestly thinking back on it now too. At the last tournament of the year, at the at Wheeler, I was leading it after the first day, but they ended up, like I said, I made the top 10. I think I finished 5th in that one. David Walker won, but Kevin won the points that year. But it was at that tournament that Kevin, we were, I think, in the weigh-in line, maybe on the top 10 day or whatever it was, and he and I actually ended up fishing one of the same places a little bit throughout that tournament.
Okay.
But he came up to me and he's like, "Man, you've had a heck of a year. This is you really like the way that you fish." He's like, "You handle yourself the way that people should on the water. You never pull in on people." He said, and he and I, like I said, we had saw each other at this one place some, and I never pulled in on him. He didn't pull in on me. It was whoever got there first kind of deal would get it. And it was just, he's like, "Dude, he said, you've got my respect.
Awesome.
You fish the way that you're supposed to." And
that's proper bassing, Ott DeFoe. That's proper bassing man stuff right there.
Pretty cool. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Hey, I know that you've been doing the run of podcasts and the run of everything else, and I know you did Jimmy Kimmel, you did Conan O'Brien, and you did all the good goods, Bass University,
right.
and I kind of was letting it simmer down, and besides Pete Glusick threatened to leave a horse head in my bed if I had you on before he did, but I want to talk to you a little bit about your victory on Lake Fork, and congratulations, man, on your first Bass Pro Tour victory, dude.
Thank you.
Amazing. And we're gonna kind of do and this is no disrespect. This is my favor to you, Ott. I know you've talked about this tournament a zillion times. It's an amazing accomplishment, but what we're gonna do is a Stray Cast Cliff Notes version of your victory. Is that okay with you?
I can't wait for it.
Okay. So you just give me a brief explanation of these statements I make, and this should sum up the tournament.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So 1 hour Fury.
18 fish. It's technically 75 minutes, 18 fish, 57 pounds, including a 9.6.
3.3 average. 3.3 pound average.
Is that what it was? I had no idea.
That's crazy, dude. That's awesome.
Yep.
And a 9.6 in the bunch. A 9.6. Here's the next. Do you know what a FBR is?
What?
A FBR. Frank Bernie Ralph. FBR. Frank Bernie Ralph.
FBR. Franklin Delano Roosevelt is what a FDR. But
yeah,
FBR.
this is
I
B.
do not know what an FBR is.
An FBR is a freaking bank runner. A freaking bank runner. And I'm an FBR. I admit it. I'm a winder myself. I'm an FBR. But there was something, and I've seen you as an FBR many times.
Yeah.
But there was something in you at this Lake Fork Derb that said, if I'm going to win this deal, I can't be an FBR. I got to go out a bit. All right. Tell me about that. I got to go out.
Yeah.
What did you do?
And that was on the on the championship part of it, which was down on Lake Athens. So Fork, I was a FBR. I was catching spawners. That was what I did to survive. Those up there, it was a spawning deal. But when one day we were allowed to practice down on Lake Athens. I realized pretty quick when I was running the bank on that day that those fish, that a lot of them were done. There was so many empty beds. And then I'm just coming around a point and a big school of fish comes up here schooling out off the bank. So it's easy to abandon this when you see that.
Yeah, sure.
And, and I threw out there with the top water and one eats it. While I'm fighting it, I hook another one. I've got a double on. I can feel by the way it's pulling. One of them pull off, end up getting one in, throw back with a jerk bait, lose a 5, throw back, catch a 4. So when you do that, it's easy to say, okay, no more bank running, because if I do this once during the day, twice during the day, and nobody else does, I win the tournament blowing it away.
Hands
and that was
down.
that was what kept me committed. Now it didn't look real good after like 2.5 periods. But it finally did.
It happened.
It happened.
It sure happened. And just as for the record here, if we're keeping count, you can use a few of these terms just so you know. FBR. Feel free to use FBR and go ahead and quote Rick Clunn with the current is the great neutralizer. That's for you, Al.
Current is the great neutralizer. Yep, I will. I'll use that.
That's for you, man. So
yep.
Your first victory on the Bass Pro Tour, and you blew it away. You blew it away,
yep.
man. You one thing that I've actually felt this before, but as being an FBR, you said you could feel that crankbait hitting their backs. Dude, that's an awesome feeling. And then, I mean, you just know, I've been on flats where that happens, and it's just an amazing thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a unique feeling, and people who have never felt it, the first few times they'll feel it, they'll have no idea what it is. They'll think they're coming through some brush or something, you know, that they will not think it's fish. But where I was fishing, there's nothing down there. I mean, it's you know, a side image. There's no brush. There's not very much rock. All there was fish. And I mean, so it was, I knew, I mean, I can tell what that feeling is. I can be coming through a rock pile and feel it, and I know what it is.
Sure.
But yeah, it is a cool feeling, and it, you know, it's almost like you're coming up on a limb, and then the limb swims away.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it. For sure. Wait a minute.
Right. That's kind of what it feels like. But yeah, no, I could. My very first cast through there, I went back and watched some of the live, and I cut the engine off, dropped the trolling motor, and make a long cast out there with that DT10. And I don't make it 10 cranks. I'm like, I just hit one. I mean, I actually said that, but it was 4 or 5 casts before I caught one. Yeah, it is. It's a cool feeling, but the thing that I realized was how many were down there, but how few were actually biting. So it was kind of concerning, you know. But yeah, they were there.
It all worked out all right, man, and victorious. I got to ask you about that soon to be released at iCast Bait, the Biggs Shad. What's up with? Is that what it's called? Old Big Shad or something? Biggs.
Big Shad. Yeah. So I've got a buddy here in East Tennessee, and his name is Jason, but his nickname is Big.
Okay.
And, it's a color that he, you know, that he painted for me, and the origination of the color. The long story is it's a color that Jacob Wheeler actually gave me and said, "Hey man, we need to get somebody to paint some of this color." And so I gave that color to Biggs. We actually doctored it up a little bit. The original one had kind of a bluish back. This one's got a little bit more purple in it.
Okay.
But it's a dynamite color. I used it a lot last year. I've used it a lot really the last couple of years, but yeah, it is a dynamite shad color, really natural, really kind of neutral shad color. And it big shad catches bigs.
Isn't it amazing that what a certain color can do to an angler's psyche? You know, like to their mindset, to their whole, like, for example, when
you tie it on, you know you're going to catch one.
Yeah, like I got a chatterbait right now that my buddy tied for me, and it's like got purple in it and green pumpkin and like some glow stuff and shit, and I love it.
Yep.
I mean, it's like I know I am going to catch it on that chatterbait when I throw it. It's that feeling I have.
Yeah, and the reason you know that is because when you tie it on, you're not going to cut it off. You're going to throw it.
Right.
And then that's what you throw where that fish is. And then that's what that fish is going to bite.
And it would have worked with another color probably, but we're all idiots. And we're just that crazy about bass fishing. Our psyche is all messed up, you know?
But that's the deal is that, man, you know, when you get on a color like that, and that's with that big shad, when I tie that on, I don't really, if it matches the watercolor whatsoever, and I've caught them on it in water I could only see 14 inches maybe, and I've caught them on it in water I could see 3 or 4 feet. You know, so it works in anything that I would call a light stain to clear water, I know it's going to work. And dude, when I tie it on, I ain't going to cut it off and try another color because I know it'll work.
Right. No need to. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen
Exactly.
eventually, and that's what we know. And then till your buddy catches them better on that color, and they're like, that son of a gun, I better get that one, snip, and now you're on the next one. And then your brain's working that way.
And see, the good thing for us is that I don't fish with other people a whole lot. So they either bite what I throw or they wasn't going to bite it off.
How many of them orange chickens did you buy after you saw Jordan catching some of them? Come on, you had to get a few of those.
I ain't bought any. I tied up a couple, but I ain't bought any. Yep.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Yep.
That's awesome. Hey, what's your go-to jig? Like, what's your confidence jig? I know you said you don't like dragging much, but I know you always got one tied on. What's that one jig?
Oh yeah, that one jig for me, it's a Terminator Pros jig, and yeah, I'll swim it, I'll flip it. We've got a swimming jig coming out too at ICAST,
yeah.
but as everything, but that Pros jig is an excellent all-purpose jig, and we did 5 colors in it last year, that I was able to design, but man, it's just a great all-purpose jig. You can cast it, flip it, swim it, whatever.
That's your deal.
But Bama Crawl, the over OD color, which is like a black blue with a little bit of chartreuse in it, for really muddy water, and then the white one are the ones I use the most. But we've got like Okeechobee Crawl and Texas Crawl in it as well. Those 5 colors, those are honestly the 5 colors I carry. I may have 1 or 2 others, but I mean those are pretty much the 5 that I carry across the country. And love you all.
Love you.
They're going to bed.
Is it baby cub sleepy boo boo time?
Yep. those are the 5 colors I carry all across the country, and they work from Florida to New York to California.
And I like that one with a little bit of chartreuse in it. That's I mean, you kind of did it for us on that, so thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's I can remember, man, way back. I'm talking. This is going way back. I was the first money I ever won bass fishing was up on Lake Cumberland in Kentucky, and we fished a little winter spring trail up there that had anywhere from 3 to 11 boats. I mean, it was very small.
Okay.
But my dad and brother, one of the tournaments that they actually won, they called them flipping trash mats, and they had a decent bag for that lake, especially back then for our skill level. They had like 11 or 12 pounds or something, right, and maybe only in 4 fish, but they had a couple real nice ones. And that actually had it might have been an old Strike King jig or something, but it was black blue with a little bit of chartreuse in it.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
And I mean, that water was that much, you can only see that deep. The water was so muddy. And that was the jig that he caught them on. And that's always been a color that I've used a lot in that super, super muddy water, is that black blue with a little bit of chartreuse.
And that is where I got turned on to that little bit of chartreuse, was in an old Strike King bootlegger jig. I don't know if that's the one he was throwing, but the old bootlegger. Yeah, that was the deal.
Yeah.
That was the deal back in the day, man. That was before the DB, before the Denny Brower jig. The bootlegger.
Yeah, way before that.
The bootlegger. So how old are you?
Yeah.
You're like 45 or something, 46? 40.
Wow, you're actually giving me about 10 years more than 10 more than 10. 34. I'll be 35 in September.
Well,
Thank you.
Well, I'm horrible at math. Oh my gosh, I had you at 45 in my head. And in 2011, you were 25, and I knew that, and then I completely messed up math.
Yeah, you were dead on then.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know. Well, speaking of math, I'm gonna figure this out right here then. So, basically, I want to equate this right now, the magic of mathematical numbers in bass fishing, and of course 318. Those numbers 318.
Yeah.
Okay, you won the Bassmaster Classic, 318.
317.
Is it 17? Is it technically 17?
I made that statement on stage, but Jenny corrected me. I was a day off.
Well, let's pretend.
Leap year got me.
Let's pretend this is a story that I just made up right now, okay? and we're
Okay.
both mathing
Yep.
together. So let's use,
Okay.
to be historically correct, let's move the date of the Bass Pro Tour to 3/17
Okay.
to match the Bassmaster Classic of 3/17.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do
So
that.
now we're at 3/17. So if you take 3/17, divide the
Okay.
7 by the 3 by the square root of an isosceles triangle. Okay? You take all this together, and that equates to the magic number of 9-6 and 5-6, which you both caught in the final day of your Bass Pro Tour victory. Congratulations on that accomplishment right there. Did you see that?
I'll
How
take
we?
your word.
Yeah, it all doesn't work out. That's a true story I just made up right there. It's right there.
True story. You heard on the internet.
Yeah,
It's gotta be right.
exactly. You sing on Stray Cast
Yep.
as well. Hey, so
That's
you're
right.
36 years old. Something
34.
like 34, 38 years old now. So you're 38 years old, Ott DeFoe.
Okay.
34 years old. What was your favorite TV show growing up?
Hank Parker.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, of
Yep.
course, dude. How cool
Yeah.
and
Yeah, the Bassmasters was good too with Bob Cobb and TNN.
sure.
That was pretty hard to
Back in the
yeah,
day.
Hank Parker was probably my favorite.
But like Hank Parker was a suave dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
just Hank, pick up that spinner bait. You know what I mean?
Just smooth.
Just smooth, dude. He was like
Yeah.
he was like a tree casting, like a smooth
Yeah.
tree. You know what I mean? If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah.
I loved Hank Parker too, and I liked watching Jimmy Houston a lot as well.
Mhm.
Back in the day, just those. He was an amazing caster as well. Still is.
Oh, he still is. I got to fish with Jimmy last spring at a deal with Bass Pro, a Legends event that we did, and fish with Jimmy. And I don't know how he cast. He almost holds his rod still and goes, and the bait just goes. He doesn't. He has no wind up. It just goes.
Exactly. And the first time, like when I would see Jimmy Houston as a kid, now I'm 51, and that's accurate math. So so at 51, I'm 3 years older than you, Ott, right now.
Yeah.
So
we're pretty close now.
But I remember being a 10-year-old at fishing shows and watching Jimmy Houston wrap spinner baits with hooks on them around people's ears. The line. Like just going like this, and they wouldn't even know it was coming. Like he didn't even have insurance policies back then. It's like, boom. And he's like, he didn't care. He went, exactly. He didn't care. But an amazing caster, man. That's one of my favorite TV fishermen, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, being in the boat with him, his laugh didn't bother me, but on TV, man, I couldn't watch it as much. But being in the boat, dude, we had a big time.
It gets to you, huh? It gets to you.
Yeah.
That's funny,
Yeah.
man. Were you kind of in awe? Like, do you ever get I know you working with Bass Pro Shop,
yeah.
you get to be around Dance and Martin and Houston, the Grits, Johnny Morris for crying out loud. Like that's got to be, I wouldn't say intimidating, but you got to be like, as James Brown would say, jump back and kiss myself. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that was Jimmy's the only one of those guys. At one of those events, I got to get in the boat with Kevin for a little bit, 30 or 45 minutes. And we were in Kevin's boat. So of course he's running the trolling motor and I'm just there fishing, but
he was backboating you. I know how that went.
Yeah, but with Jimmy, it was in my boat, so I ran the trolling motor a lot. But I'd doing whatever. He'd run the trolling motor some too, and it was really cool to just stand back there on kind of the back end of the front deck and be like, I'm in the boat with Jimmy Houston.
That's Jimmy Houston.
It's like
right
he's running my boat, but I mean I'm in the boat with Jimmy. And that was cool. That I'm like, he's throwing the spinner bait up here, and I'm flipping in the bushes because it was a team deal that we were fishing. So we're trying to pick up each other's scraps and work together, and it was really cool that just sharing the boat with him that day, and us working together in that tournament. But yeah, no, it was a fun.
Do you
fun
know what
deal.
that's the smell of, Ott DeFoe?
What's that?
That's the smell of success right there for you, Ott DeFoe. Sharing a boat with Jimmy
Yeah.
Houston, flipping a jig behind a spinnerbait king. That's amazing, dude. You're a blessed man.
Yeah, I definitely am.
It's
Definitely
awesome,
am.
man. It's amazing. So I want to ask you. You travel a lot, obviously not right now, and in these times, this question is actually irrelevant. But I know on the road you got to have your favorite little place that you're always. If you're hungry, you know, you ever hear that expression "hangry"? You know, you're hungry and you get angry, you're hangry. Like, where's that spot Ott DeFoe pulls in when you need something on the road? Like, what's your guilty pleasure for a fast food joint?
If there's a Zaxby's nearby, that's where I'm gonna stop.
The Zaxby's. Okay, now I am not familiar. They don't have those around us. What is that? What's a Zaxby exactly?
Okay, so it's chicken only.
Okay.
Yeah, but their chicken is it's different from Chick-fil-A. You know, different kind of breading and stuff. It's still chicken, but they've got really good salads. But the deal with Zaxby's is their sauces. So that, you know, you can get they've got 8-10 different sauces, whether it's, you know, I like the original buffalo. It's my favorite one, but they've got the 4-level hot, you know, whatever the
5 alarm
hot is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might actually be one. But yeah, they've got them just, you know, all different crazy kind of sauces and stuff. That's a big thing with them. But yeah, it's all chicken, but really good salads and stuff. Yeah, that's Zaxby's is. If there's one nearby, that's where I'm gonna go.
All right, if I see one, I'm gonna stop in there, and I'm gonna send you a selfie from Zaxby's with the whole Stray Cast crew.
Do that.
Causing trouble.
Yeah.
So what are you washing the Zaxby's down with? Like, what's your soda or your drink of choice when you go into Zaxby's?
They got good sweet tea at Zaxby's.
The sweet tea, okay. The Zaxby sweet tea.
And the one thing Zaxby's always have, if you go in, it's one of the only fast food place I know of that has one. They actually will have fresh cut up slices of lemon, and so you can get lemon and actually put in your sweet tea. So that's lemon and sweet tea just makes it that much better.
Absolutely. And you know what? I hate to be like this, but doesn't it suck right now that stuff like that is on a standstill? It like kind of makes us appreciate like the little things in life. Like I'm scared to death, or I shouldn't say that. I don't like going to like places where, like a grocery store, let's just say it. I don't like that kind of stuff right now. But sometimes like we have to buy things, and it's like there's a process for even buying something. Like I have to come home, and then I take the gloves off, and then I wipe the soda bottle, and then I make sure that's clean, and then I wipe the counter because the soda bottle touched the counter, but then the left side of my hand might have touched the soda bottle, so I'm now putting hand sanitizer on there. It's like, that's called Ronaphobia.
Ronaphobia.
Ronaphobia. Now, I know people that have it bad. I am so ADD, thank God, now that like I'm if you can't tell, I get distracted very easily. It's like it's amazing that I can do a talk show. But anyway, the fact of the matter is I have these things to take me out of myself, okay?
Right.
To help me through that. And the common bond that there's a couple common bonds that you and I share. First off, I run. That's one of the things I do to keep my mind. The other thing I do, the bond that we share, bass fishing. The other bond that we share, Ott, is that we let a higher power guide us, and I'm not trying to get all religious or whatever you want to call it here. It's just a fact of how I live. And the fact of the matter is that helps a guy whose brain is all over the place like myself with those three things to cope with this crazy world right now.
It absolutely does, man. You can let so much you can let so much cloud your mind or focus your thoughts on different things. I personally and I mean it was that way before the coronavirus, and it'll be that way after. I never watch the news.
I don't either.
And when I say never, I mean never.
I don't either, dude.
It is Fox, ABC, CNN. None of that stuff is ever. It's not. I don't follow any of them on social media. It's never on my TV. The only way on my stupid Apple stuff, for some reason, once a day it'll send me an update. World news, blah blah blah. If I knew how to turn that notification off, I would. But that's the extent of news that I get ever. I
read the Bass Blaster, and Bass Fan.
Yeah, that's my extent of news. I know who I'm gonna vote for. That I don't need to read the news to know that, and I just don't. I don't listen to any of it. I don't look at any of it. And yeah, no, you can get so wrapped up in all this stuff, but I know that God He is the only person all this that is not surprised whatsoever, and none of this has caught Him off guard. And at the end of the day, I know that everything's going to be okay because I know where I'm going, whether it's a car wreck or a heart attack, heart surgery, or the coronavirus, or if I live for another 150 years, I know where I'm going to go and so we're with. So
it's awesome, dude.
That's what I'm interested in.
That's amazing. Thank you for making me feel better. I think you just made a bunch of people feel better too, Ott DeFoe. Hope you know that.
Well, I hope so. I hope so.
Absolutely. Speaking of feel better, I'm sure you have been, as I have been, and so many people out here in the Bass Galaxy praying for our buddy Aaron right now.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
Probably, and go ahead and argue with me, but I will say he is the purest man in professional bass fishing when it comes to the sport of bass fishing. Probably purest in thought. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but man, he's kind of like you. His thoughts are kind of all over the place, and he's kind of hard to keep on task. So I don't know if you're in thought as far as that goes is a real. I think your overall idea is correct, but I don't know if the wording is right.
Okay, well, to me, that's what it is, because I know that every thought to him is in pure form, okay?
Yeah.
So that, like, let me give you an example. I mean, like, so, like, Aaron doesn't care about leagues. Like, you might have this guy, I'm MLF, I'm BPT. This guy, BASS. Aaron didn't even know what leagues certain other professionals fish. Like, he would think they were in his league. Because all that mattered was the purity of catching bass. And that's all that matters to Aaron is the purity of catching bass. That's where I'm going with it, if the clarification. You see?
That's for him. He just, he wants to figure out a way to catch another one, and why they're not biting or whatever it is that's going on. You know, he is as in tune and just wants to figure it out.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot in common. You're both barefooters and you're both tinkerers.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
yep, absolutely.
100%, man.
Yeah. So always another way to skin a cat. That's what my dad would always.
That's right, man. Hey, let's put it this way. In a situation for you, Ott DeFoe, is it better to act or react? Do you know what I mean by that? Is it better to act or react?
Both have positives and both have potential negatives. But if possible, I like to be the one acting more often than reacting. You know, and in Lake Athens Championship Day, I was acting the whole time. And most of the day it didn't look very good. But 75 minutes left, and really until about it's really about 30 minutes left was when I actually took the lead. But once that 75-minute span begun, everybody else was in a place where they had to react.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because of my acting. But I had been acting all day and it didn't look real good. Sometimes when you're acting, it may not look real good for a long time, but if you ever hit your stride and stuff, the everything starts to come into focus and the chips start to fall into place, you can leave everybody else in the dust.
That's the patient winder. That's the patient winder right there. I like it. I like that. And then on the other hand, there's got to be a time where you're like, man, I'm kicking the mule. I gotta react. I gotta react. You know, what is that? What is that fine line to you, Ott DeFoe? Because again, you said it yourself on Athens there, man. Perfect example. It wasn't quite happening at first, but like, you know, it happened. So and
it could have not. I mean, it absolutely it didn't have to happen. I mean, it really didn't. It wasn't a guarantee. I mean, we can all look back and be like, oh, yeah, well, you made the right decision. You stuck with it, and it worked out. That was meant to be. I mean, that's just the way it was meant to be. So, yes, we can look at it and be like, oh, yep, boy, you were smart. You stayed the course. It all come together.
Yeah.
Whether Brent Chapman or Junior or whoever could have got on what they did and end up winning. So, but yeah, no, it was. That's the risk you take. And I could have run into that school with only 20 minutes left to go and not had enough time to get it done. So it just
you'd have got it done.
But when you are acting, man, timing is everything.
Yeah.
I guess that's really the big takeaway is that timing is everything. When you're reacting, you may never get too lost.
Yeah.
You never be irrelevant, but when you're acting, you can get totally left behind, or you can really be the lead dog.
But it seems in the times, whether it be in fishing or in life, when we're acting rather than reacting, that things are more fluid and easy. Does that make sense?
It is. Yeah, typically because you're going at your own pace. And it's kind of in whether you're playing offense or defense. You know, it's another way you can kind of look at the same thing. When I'm fishing offensively, I'm fishing the way I want to fish. I'm doing things the way I want to do them, the way Ott DeFoe wants to catch them, or the style that I want to be doing. That's when I'm fishing offensively, that's what I'm able to do. If I have to back up and start reacting and start fishing defensively, it may take me out of my comfort zone, and I can compete doing it. Maybe I'll be successful doing it, but it's not necessarily the way I want to be doing it.
Man, and that was spoken, and I mean this sincerely, like a champion. I mean, because you are a champion's champion, and I introduced you as that because that is true. Like Ott DeFoe, before this Rona BS, there was a lot of division in bass fishing. I don't give a shit what anybody says. There sure was. Okay.
Yeah.
And now it's irrelevant. I don't care. Yeah. All that matters is surviving, staying safe, loving, and fishing. That's what matters right now. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, you are a champion's champion because everyone likes Ott DeFoe. It doesn't matter if they're in bass. It doesn't matter if they're in Bass Pro Tour. Everybody likes Ott DeFoe. Everyone would have you over for dinner. Do you know that?
Well, thank you. I don't know if everybody would, but I appreciate that.
Most of them would. Like, I was having a conversation with a mutual friend of ours. He's a real jerk off from New Jersey. Goes by the name Brian the Carpenter. You know that guy? Yeah. Yeah,
I do know that.
Yeah, he produces for that Ike Live show. And him and I were talking about you behind your back. And we basically were like, there is not one damn bad thing you can say about Ott DeFoe. There's not. There's really not. You know, and my dad and my granddad both said don't ever say nothing about somebody unless you got something good to say about them. But the fact of the matter is everybody does it. We're bass fishermen. We're all bitchers and whiners a lot of times. But there ain't a damn bad thing you can say about Ott DeFoe. Go ahead and argue with me, Bass Galaxy. Find something. Find something. There's nothing. There's nothing, man. It's amazing. I think we would be amiss if you and I didn't do a little number before I let you before I let you
Absolutely.
go. How your pipes? Are you feeling good? Are you
Yeah, I got just one drop of water.
Let me little green tea here too.
Yeah.
Now there's an old Oak Ridge Boys song, and it's called Elvira. Okay. Elvira. You remember that? And there's a part in it that goes giddy up, papa mau mau. Do you remember it?
Mau. Giddy up, papa mau mau. That one.
That's it. So we're gonna close out this Ott DeFoe Bass Fishing Champion segment with a little Stray Cast rendition of Elvira. And after I say my heart's on fire, you just come on in with the giddy up a boom bop a boo. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, after I say Elvira, not on fire.
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Thinking is after Elvira.
Yeah. Let me warm up. Let me warm up for this one. All right.
Okay.
My heart's on fire for Elvira. Then you hit it.
Papa mau mau.
Papa mau mau. Hi ho silver. Away. There it is.
I like it.
Well, I'm glad you did, Ott. I hope everybody else did too. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bass Fishing Champion Ott DeFoe. Thank you for brightening our lives tonight, Ott. Outstanding. Outstanding, man. Hey, wait, you got something going on tomorrow. I saw you cleaning your boat. What are you up to? You're up to something.
Yeah, up to something. Jacob Wheeler and myself are actually going to go have a little contest head-to-head tomorrow. So it won't be on tomorrow, but I think Friday we'll be able to have it up. I don't have all the details. His guy knows exactly what we're doing with it also.
Okay.
But yeah, he and I are going to go fishing in our own boats, not together.
Gotcha.
But yeah, in our own boats around here tomorrow, and go do a little competing of some sort. So
are you going to be in your river
fun.
boat? Or no, you were cleaning your big boat up.
Yeah,
but
going to be in our big boats.
Throw him for a loop and change the location real quick.
Yeah.
And then he'll have his other boat, and then you got your little river runner, and then you run in and just win the derb and leave old Indiana Jake in the dust. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that may be our second event.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much always for the support you have shown this show, even my old radio show back in the day. Thank you so much for the support you've shown me for this endeavor, man. And we all love you, dude. You're an amazing champion, an amazing person, and we're happy that you're here for us, if that makes sense.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be on here. So appreciate it, guys.
Ott DeFoe. Hey, everybody. There's more action. Don't forget, we're giving away prizes. Put the power poles down. Don't go anywhere. More Stray Casts when we get back. Boom.
As a professional angler, I rely on my equipment to be successful on the water, and my eyewear is no exception. Oh, yep, good one. 6-pounder, 7-pounder. From daylight till dark, every single day of my life. In the truck, on the water. My Amphibia eye gear provide 100% polarized protection. They're ANSI safety rated for impact, and best of all, they float.
And they float. I like them. I wear these silver amphibias running. Talking to myself. Right? Bite me, tackle.
It's a command to the fish. Quality.
Listen to this guy doing the spot. Sounds like a WWE guy that's out of work.
The Hunter
like that.
or Jacob
Popcorn's throwing that head right now.
all new tackle like the jackpot
swim
net
bait.
head.
There's the Hunter head. That's the one I like.
Buster
Wobbles.
swim bait head.
Zone ahead.
Bite me. It's
Then there's Ginger. You see Ginger? You see the ninja? Holding a double bagger. That's me. That's Danny Mo. The Dicky Mo.
Your voiceovers sound hysterical right now.
Well, thank you. Then don't talk. There's Bite Me. That's Danny Mohead. BiteMeTackle.net.
Hey guys, Micah Frazier here. I've got a bait from War Eagle Baits called the Buzz Toad. Big thing lately has been putting a toad style bait on a buzz bait, and preferably it's my favorite way to fish one. This bait here's got a quick planing head, a great hook, and it squeals right out of the package. The body of this bait is big and bulky, so it allows you to skip it. It planes quicker than a skirted bait would. In my opinion, it's just the way to fish a buzz bait. So y'all check this thing out.
Frazier.
It's pretty awesome.
Find it.
Mystery Science Stray Cast.
It is Mystery Science Stray Cast, War Eagle Custom Lures. Go, Kevy! Lure tower. We got a whole tower. Throw is amazing. He's killing him right now.
Get some Kevin Van Dam's
Watch
line
Kevin
lure.
cast.
You
It's
can launch
still,
a
it's
mile.
still going. It's still going. It's still going. He's making those sounds like with breathing. Watch Kevin.
JPP.
Better stick to fishing.
Kevin can juggle.
The swim jig technique is
fishing.
one of the most successful ways
Step
to
up
put
your,
fish in the boat.
swim jig
Time
game.
in and time out. Brovani Bait swim
cut your
jigs
teeth
are
on
just
your
the
swim
right
jigs?
tool for the job.
bet that
Beaming
hurt.
with quality, the Brovani swim jigs come in a myriad of colors, feature the best premium hooks and solid trailer keepers to give you, the serious bass angler, the confidence you need to accomplish your goal of putting more fish in the boat. So go to BrovaniBaits.com and start climbing the ladder to
DeFoe was
swim jig
awesome.
success.
Yeah.
Sorry, forgot we're live. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Hammer time. Boom, 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 boom. Back in the saddle once again.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Straight Cast Outdoor Cartoon Television. I'm Pat Renwick. Welcome back. Hop in my Crestliner. Let's go for a ride. And let's bring in the entire Stray Cast crew. The entire crew right now for the end of the show, Maniacy. The Monaco Chaco. Now, who's here? Check in. Check in, guys. I see Dickie Mo. Who else here? Anybody?
Yo, JP's in the house.
I don't see you. Why do I hear you but not see you?
No, I don't know.
There you are,
There
Jay.
Yeah, zoom in. Yeah.
Yeah, you just zoomed. I see how you zoomed. I like it. Was that you making those breathing sounds like,
Yeah, those are gold dust sounds.
oh, is that what that was? Shining on,
Yeah.
like Stevie Nicks. The
Yes.
Stevie Nicks song. I know exactly
Exactly.
what you're talking about. The where's Popcorn Whitaker?
No.
Huh?
Hey.
Is Ryan here?
Yeah.
There's Ryan. Look at you. I like that's an awesome Crestliner hoodie you got on there, Rye. Oh, that's Danny. It's not Ryan. You look a lot different, Ryan. In your blue. Why can't I see Ryan?
Ryan has to unmute his mic.
Ryan, unmute your mic, but you have to rub your belly and tap your head, and then unmute your mic with your nose.
JP, scoot over.
Andy,
It's not muted. Andy,
oh,
do you have me muted?
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Ryan Popcorn Beardless
Hey.
Whitaker. You're like a naked mole rat now.
That's something.
You
there.
actually have teeth. He has teeth, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Pat, I like your shirt.
Right? Hey, proper bassin'
What?
man. Andy and I are Twinkies. Look at that. Look at
That was
that.
unplanned as well.
Yes. Unchained. Go back to Ryan. I want to see Ryan's face.
He's got to talk.
Ryan, talk.
Yo.
Yeah, Ryan. So you are basically a naked mole rat. You have and you only have like a partial fighter. So we call that a partial. It's like a landing strip fighter.
Partial?
I can't get a little closer. Oh no, that's full on fighter bush right there.
I got fingers too.
That's what that is. That's not a landing strip.
Oh man, you look like a jackass.
Why did I know JP would be a dick? Why did I know?
Hey, enough.
All right.
Enough. Don't fight on the playground, guys, when Rona's over.
Wait,
Got
do
it?
you know what Ryan looks like?
No, tell me, Danny.
Have you ever heard of the show Kim Possible?
I actually call me Beat Me if you want to reach me. Yeah, I know Kim.
He looks like Rufus the Naked Mole Rat.
Well, that's how I know that from my daughter Jasmine watching the Call Me Beat Me If You Want to Reach Me show. The Kim Possible.
That's funny.
You guys are really cool.
Yeah, but that doesn't even. Hey, Ryan, but you look good, man. You look
Thank you.
You look more like a Whitaker now, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
You look like
Sure.
your brother and you're more like your brothers and your dad now.
Yeah.
Before we couldn't
That's a
tell.
good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good thing?
Before I'm a big Dave fan. I'm a big Dave Whitaker fan. But the fact of the matter is, we couldn't see your face before. You were like,
I haven't seen my face in like 10 years.
Have you seen what? Huh?
I said I haven't seen my face in like 10 years. I've been getting scared every time I go to the bathroom in the morning and look in the mirror.
You're like, who is that asshole? What do you want? Leave me alone. You're hideous.
Yeah, I'm an imposter in my own world.
You look amazing, and the War Eagle hat fits you well. I'll tell you
something there.
I'll tell you that. Andy, what are you doing? Where are you at?
I'm at the lake fishing.
Are you? I see
Yeah,
that.
you want to go flipping?
Oh, you're on
Yeah.
Havasu. I see you're
Yeah,
on
let's go.
Havasu. Actually, Rick Clunn is back there in an ancient Indian cove.
He's over there.
You see him over by there.
Let's go flipping. See that?
There's a
mat?
really
I'm gonna be
nice
strong in there.
isolated mat right behind you.
You know why my mat's isolated? Because of Rona. Of course, that's
Yeah,
why
Matt is isolated.
Matt
because of
is
Rona.
is
Yes.
isolated because of the Rona. So I want to just tell you guys that it is the most awkward thing in the world when we start the Straycast show live, and I don't know if we're live, and it's like I got to watch a box that goes, and then all of a sudden it takes me a minute to realize that the entire Bass Galaxy is with us and that you guys are here, and then the guest is coming, and then I feel comfortable. But it is so awkward to be doing a show like this, all of us from our own separate houses. I'm just going to be honest with you. And it's not just Straycast, obviously, dealing with this American households everywhere. I mean, especially with this Easter weekend, you know? I mean, there's families that are actually going to be using Zoom to communicate with each other this Easter weekend, you know? And even churches, for crying out loud. But it's just odd. That's what I'm getting at. But here's what we got. We got bass fishing, guys. We got bass fishing. And it's happening now, and the fishing's good where we live. And it's just going to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ryan, are you ready? Are you ready, Ryan?
Am I ready?
Yeah.
Wait, no, I'm not, because my boat's not ready.
Are you ready mentally?
Oh, yeah.
Are you creatively visualizing already, Mr. Whitaker?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. The next step then is to shave the mustache. That was the point of all this.
He needs to wax it and curl it
The
up.
next step, no, shave it all off. Go full on.
Wax that thing and curl it up.
It's twisted right now, man.
Go full on naked.
Yeah.
It's just light colored. You can't see it.
No.
Hey, how'd the tin cup whiskey drinking game go, Danny? Were you taking tabs?
I ran out.
He's
And
out.
we're
Oh
all
my
done.
goodness. Well, how did it go for the audience? What was the tally? How many derbs and jigs were there?
Well, you said jigs a lot, including like vibrating jig, like jig this, jig that. Like there was jig a lot. Like I couldn't even keep count. There was probably about 15 to 20.
Whoa.
It was,
Okay, so
Oh
we got
no, it was 47.
47.
47. That's impossible.
Yeah.
Dude, you said jig a lot though. That's the thing. I stopped counting once all the whiskey.
Well, we're gonna have to adjust that game because when the quarantine's over.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we gotta do something about that. That's crazy.
Oh god.
So there were
yeah.
47 derbs and 47, or
Total.
between jigs and derbs, 47.
Yeah.
In the tin cup whiskey drinking game. Where's JP? Why can't I see JP?
Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah.
There's
Give
JP.
me a hell yeah.
What
Hey,
up,
Pat,
JP?
I took notes again. Do you want to hear a couple?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Don't have me turn dials
First note is
because I suck
the
at it.
disappointment the disappointment on your face was priceless when Ott said he didn't really like to throw fat balsa cranks.
Yeah.
Oh
I
no,
love that
fine.
part.
Well, hold on. I'm going to disagree with you on that because I already knew the answer.
What are you okay.
So I really was. Maybe it was like a look that, like, I don't know, but it wasn't. It was. I mean, it was not disappointment. Amazing observation that probably would have been true if I already didn't know the answer, which I do to many of the questions I ask already, unfortunately.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay. Well, I saw a little like, you know.
I might have been like, you're missing out, bro. Like,
Yeah.
don't let a bass fishing talk show host tell a professional angler that he should be throwing fat balsa baits. You know what I mean?
He's pretty good at cranking.
Yeah, he knows a few things. Yes, sir. But anyway, disagree with that respectively, but great observation.
Second note, it seems like the key to happiness is just not watching the news.
Yeah, I hate the news.
And I'm so glad he brought that up.
Yeah, thank you. Babes and bass. That's pretty much what every male in America should be concerned with, and a relationship with their higher power.
Babes,
Right.
bass, and beer. It's the 3 Bs.
Yeah.
And then this was just a personal note, but that flat plastic beaver style bait on a chatterbait to stop it from rolling into the wood. Tip of the month.
Yeah, we got to try it. I threw that chigger craw on the chatterbait, and I didn't like it.
Well, he said he even said the chigger craw is kind of round. You want
get
a
it.
wide, flat one.
I heard that. I'm just telling you, I'm opening my mind. That was like, okay,
good.
I took like 3 or 4 casts with the chigger craw on the back of a chatterbait, and I figured it didn't work. So I just got rid of it.
So you're past step 1.
Yeah.
Open your mind. Step 2.
I have a problem.
So you did it one time?
Yeah, I did it 9 times.
Yeah, right.
9 times. But yeah, I'm here. I'm with you. Like the beaver style bait. Now, is the one he's talking about? Does that have like just straight appendages, or does it have flappy dappies?
I think it's like a like a D-bomb or a any sweet beaver, whatever.
Okay, but I mean, you have your rage bug type ones.
Sure.
That have those perforations on the indenicos.
The whippy flappers.
Yeah, the flappity doos on the corrugateds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try the vile craw, Pat.
The vile
spawn.
Dude, that's a and you know what? That's a meaty bait, bro.
Yeah.
That's a
Did
good
you
one.
say vile?
You can
said
trim it
vile
up,
craw,
and it
right?
comes out good.
It's the Viletech Bile Spawn cross. The
Vile craw,
the
yeah.
Viletech Spawn spraws.
Vile craw.
They're prawns. No, but here's the deal with those. They're they're amazing on a little. Here's another little tip. Swing heads. Vile cross swing heads. Sorry, guys.
Come on, guys.
It's choking a little bit.
Okay.
It's choking a little
Swing head.
bit. Yeah. Choking a little bit. But,
That's the tip.
yeah. Just the tip right there. But I like the
Yeah,
idea.
we didn't do. You didn't do odds numbers.
I couldn't see them, and I didn't know where my glasses were.
Sunglasses aren't the best for you, I don't think, for looking.
Well,
up
I just put those on now for the end of the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
For the end of the show.
I've got them right here. If you want to hear them.
Yeah, I do.
But the number was.
Can we do it blues style though?
It is impressive. Sure. I'm gonna tell you a story about Ott DeFoe.
But Pat,
Yeah.
you got to get the Berkeley. The deal is the one. The power.
That's
bait.
yes.
Oh yeah, I got those. That's what I'm saying. The as the
I can't
chicken
hear you
as the cheddar chicken trailer.
Yeah, but it's called the deal.
I know exactly what it is. Yeah, and it's got the little fork tail kind of thing on it. Yeah, I threw it a bit. It'll still
I'll
make
give
that
that a
bait
go.
hunt. It'll still make it hunt.
Yes. Yes. So Ott DeFoe, according to Bass Fan, he's at a total of $2.1 million.
That wasn't rhythmic. Try it again and be rhythmic, please.
Okay. According to Bass Fan, I can't hear your harmonica.
Still?
It keeps fading out. Let's not do blues. I don't do blues. Don't make me
man,
do
you
blues.
guys suck
I don't
at
want to
this.
do blues.
This is terrible. Boo.
All right, I'm not doing it.
So big.
Ryan, and just talk.
Just talk, right?
According to Bass Fan, he's at $2.1 million for his
Ugh.
career. But that has
Everybody's
MLS
gone
stuff
but
in
us
it.
now.
That has
Everybody's
MLF in it. So his Bassmaster career $1,642,859. He caught 4,014 pounds, and that came out to $409 a pound.
$409 a pound for Ott DeFoe.
He's one of the few that are over the 400.
That's a
pounds.
lot. No, that's why the whole DeFoe family's pretty happy there. $409 a
Yeah.
pound.
How can you be unhappy?
Yo, where
Yeah.
did your beard go?
Hey, JP, welcome to the show.
Did we just rewind?
Where did your beard go?
Got to get back in time.
Filled up 2 garbage bags.
Hey,
full
guess
of it.
what? It's time for the Stray Cast giveaway of the week, brought to you by Dan Bravarni and Bravarni
My
Baits.
calculations are correct.
Yes.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
That's what I'm saying, Doc. That's what I'm saying.
That's true.
All right, so we are going to give away. Did you guys got the winner for the Bravarni Swim Jig contest?
I do.
Yeah, JP High. Are you ready? Are we going to give it away? This is the lucky winner for the Bravarni Swim Jig $50 pack. Who is it?
Pat Loudon. Oh, I didn't know we were getting the champion music.
Okay.
Pat Loudon.
Pat Loudon. Yes. Pat Loudon, you are the winner of the Bravarni Baits $50 ding dong ding swim jig pack. Congratulations, Pat Loudon. Direct message the Straycast Facebook deal, and we'll get you some swim jigglers, some swimmy digglers. Because I know Andy needs some too.
COVID-19.
Yeah,
may or may not get those.
F you, Corona. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
F you,
Watch
Corona.
the package when it shows up.
Rona.
Yeah. F you,
Disinfect
Rona.
that shipping
You can wash my package. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, anyway.
Sure to watch your package.
Hey, it's been an amazing night here again, an awkward but amazing night in this strange from multiple house Straycast Happy House Quarantine Edition number 2. But I have some good news. Listen, I got some good news. Next week we have Paul Benson and Al from the WPF, NAACP, NAAXYZ, PDQ League.
National Professional
Fishing
Bass
League.
Fishing
That is correct. The National Professional Bass Fishing League.
Derbies.
Yes, NPFL Derb.
Everybody drink.
Everybody drink. They're coming on next week.
Hey.
Along with our headliner, a guy that sent a letter in or a viewer mail today, Mark Zona from Michigan is coming on next week. Mark
Awesome.
Mark from Michigan coming
Awesome.
on to hang out next week in the weirdness.
The Mark?
The Mark from Michigan. The Mark, the one that,
Mark.
that hates me but loves the show.
Zark or Mark?
Dark Zona. Zark Donut. Dark Zonut.
Checking.
Yeah, he's coming on next week. And we'll have some fun. Basically, that's what we're getting at. So, hey, Bass Galaxy, thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Alpha Angler. Thank you, TH Marine. Thank you, Bravarni. Thank you, Tin Cup Whiskey. Thank you, Half a Spot. Yeah. Thank you, Bite Me. Thank you, Amphibia Line and Lure Bout Stern. War Eagle, Abu Garcia, Berkeley Power Pole, and Crestliner. And don't forget, whatever you do, shop at Carl's. Did you know that Carl is actually an incarnate of the Lizard King?
Yes.
Yes, just his forehead. Just his forehead. That's it. Peace, Bass Galaxy. I'm out of here. Pat Renwick, Andrew Ellenberger, JP High, Ryan Popcorn Winokur, Danny Mohan, Larry Kyleman's getting this deal up on iTunes right after this. Subscribe to iTunes. Listen on iTunes. Subscribe to our YouTube. All that good stuff. Thank you. We bid you peace. Above all, please stay healthy and stay safe and catch some fish. Don't watch the news. Peace. Pat Renwick, I'm out.